welcome to another weekly reading vlog. So I am filming this at almost 6 o'clock this evening. I do usually get my first update done before that, but we have been travelling back from London after seeing My Chemical Romance, so I am extremely tired, but I'm ready to get this vlog kicked off. So I thought we would go through what I plan to start the week with. So the first book is a Kindle book, but it is an ARC, so it doesn't have a cover, so I will, of course, as always, insert that. And this is Daybreak by Autumn Woods, and it is due to be released this month. Let me just check. It's quite soon, I believe, so let me just double check that. The 30th of July, so we've got a bit more time. So that is due to be released on the 30th of July, and I started this on Saturday while we were travelling to London. So I have been reading that on my journey, and I'm already 47% of the way through, so I'm making good progress. I'm really enjoying it. So this is the second book in the Sorrow Song University series, and the first book is Nightshade. And this series is about Ophelia, and her parents die in a helicopter accident, and she believes that there's a specific person who is responsible because it's his company that owns it, and it's all related to this university Sorrow Song. She then gets a scholarship with the university to go, because she wouldn't be able to afford to go if not. It's a really prestigious school, and so she goes along and get very close to the son of the person she thinks killed her parents. Like, she believes, she does have all this proof that, like, essentially it was his company that did it, and there's kind of like mafia ties, and there's like a bit of a mystery, there's a stalkers, things like that. So there's like a lot going on, and this is the second book in the series. Now, the last book ended on sort of a cliffhanger. There's like a big thing at the end, and I have been waiting for this. I'm really, really glad, and I'm so happy that I managed to get the ARC for it, and the fact that I'm already 47% of the way through is so good. So it does pick up pretty much immediately after everything that happened in the last book, and it's just continuing on, and more issues are coming out, so I'm really intrigued to see where this will go. But honestly, I think I'm going to get this finished really quickly because of how much I'm loving it so far, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then I did pick, which I haven't even started yet. So in my last vlog, I did a dice roll to determine which book off my July TBR to read, and I got my Ellie book for the month, and that is Sweet Memories of You. And I actually haven't started it yet because I decided to take my Kindle with me while travelling rather than a book, and so I just haven't had a chance. So I'm thinking I might make a start on this today. And this is a series about a boarding house, and the owner, Peggy Riley, and her family are living during World War II, and lots of different people come through the boarding house or are linked to the boarding house, and it's just about what happens with those people. Typically each story follows a different sort of main character and their life while they're at the boarding house, or connected to it in some way. And this one is about one of Peggy's sisters, Doreen. So I'm looking forward to getting into it. And yeah, this series is still going. This is book 10. I think I've still got another 7 maybe on the shelf. Like, I've still got so many of these, but they are, as I said, which I've said before, they are palette cleansers for me. They're really good, and I do enjoy them when I'm reading them, and it's been my goal to just keep going through them and get them cleared off the shelf, because they're not ones that I will ever reread, so they get donated straight after. And that's pretty much it. So that is all I have planned for the rest of the day, but as I said, it is nearly 6 o'clock now anyway, so, and also I'm quite tired, so I'm not sure how much reading I'll actually get done, but we shall see. And I've also got a Pepsi Max cherry. I'm also off tomorrow, so hopefully I can catch up on some reading. I didn't film any more yesterday, so it is the next day, even though I am wearing the same top that I wore yesterday, but it's really comfortable and I love it, and I'm not ready for it to be over, so I am pretending that it is still happening by wearing this. We also went for brunch earlier, and the woman that served us went on Wednesday, so she was talking to us about it, so that was also really fun. I did read a little more of Daybreak, so I'm now on I don't know what page I'm on because it's an arc. I'm 57% of the way through. I'm still really enjoying it. There is another sort of stalker element to this again, so we're trying to figure that out. And I'm just enjoying the dynamic between Ophelia and Alex, and them clearly wanting to be together, but it's not working out at the moment with them being in two different places. Again, this is the second book in a series, so it's difficult to say too much, but I'm really enjoying it, and I want to get a good chunk of this read today because I haven't actually read anything yet today. But yeah, it's really good. I'm loving it. So that, and then I also did make a start on Sweet Memories of You, but I only read the prologue and chapter 1. So the prologue was just talking about Doreen, because she is currently, I think she's like on a sort of break, she's got some time off, and she's booked a hotel for her and her boyfriend. And then the first chapter, which is just more of like an introduction again and a little bit of a reminder of all the characters. Now, it is a little bit, not annoying, but it's a little bit like, because I do know most of the characters because I am reading, one a month. I'm reading quite regularly, but they are like, you can read them out of order, you can pick up any, so I understand why it's done, and partially it is helpful because there are a couple of people that I'm like, oh, I can't quite remember because there's so many characters. So yeah, that's all I've done really, just read the quick little intro-y part for it. But I just was too tired yesterday. Obviously we did a lot of travelling, and that always makes me really tired, so I didn't do as much reading as I was hoping, but I do have the rest of today. I do want to get some editing done though, because I've been really slacking with my editing, so I want to get that done. But I'm hoping that I could just spend most of the day reading and just chilling out because I don't want to go back to work tomorrow. But yeah, that's it. I have just this minute finished Daybreak by Autumn Woods, and I gave it 4 stars. I think it was a really, really good wrap up and ending for the series. Obviously, the first one absolutely was my favourite. I definitely preferred the first one, but this one was also really good. There were, some mystery to it. There was another stalker in this one, and some things with one of the people in the previous book, and obviously just getting Alex and Ophelia to deal with all of their problems. So it was really nice, and the ending was really cute. I did have a good time reading it. Obviously I read it relatively quickly as well, so that's really good. I just think the first book for me personally was just stronger in my opinion, but I really liked how it all came together in the second half and wrapped everything up, so that was really good. But now I think my focus is going to be Sweet Memories of You by Ellie Dean. I do have another arc that I need to read that is being released this month, so I think that will be the next book I pick up on my Kindle, because I really should have picked it up before Daybreak, but I just really wanted to read Daybreak. So yes, I'm going to be focusing on this for a little while, and I will probably make a start on the other arc that I have, which is Wench, and I can't remember who the author is off the top of my head, but it's another NetGalley arc. So what I will do is when I actually start that, I will tell you all about it. But yes, we've pretty much just had a chilled day. I'm going to make my tea soon. I'm quite hungry, and then just read for the rest of the evening. I'm in the office tomorrow, so I probably won't get bags of reading done, but we'll see how it all goes. I'm getting ready to head into the office, so I thought I would quickly come and give you an update because I didn't update much yesterday. So I didn't actually do that much reading after the last time I updated because I had a video to edit, so I did that. But I have started Wench by, it's Erynne something. I'm gonna have to check that and get back to you, but I've started Wench, which is based on Robin Hood, so it is a fantasy about that, and I believe that Robin Hood is sort of like a fae and that kind of thing. I'm not very far into it at all. I've only read a couple of chapters. I'm on chapter 2, so I think there's a prologue and then chapter 1, so I've read that. I'm 5% of the way through, so I haven't got a major sort of update on it, but I know it's being released this week, so I'm quite behind and I need to get this read ASAP. So I will be taking my Kindle with me whilst travelling into the office today, and I'll hopefully get a little bit of this read on my commute. I then did make some progress on Sweet Memories of You. I'm now on page 98, chapter 5, and this is still kind of setting everything up. So we have heard from Doreen, who is Peggy's sister. She's currently in London on leave with her boyfriend, and then we've been in Cliffhaven and just talking about Peggy and all the people that live at Beach View. There has been some drama already with Doreen, well, I guess Doreen's sister, but her other sister and Peggy's other sister Doris has somebody living at their house, like from the bulletin office, and she's not treating them very well. So there's a potential that that person, Ivy, is going to come and live with Peggy. There's also one of the people in Beachview. She has been offered a job code breaking and is not allowed to tell anybody anything about it, but it's hinted that this is potentially Bletchley Park, which is quite cool. So there is that, but that's all that has really happened so far. There's been some air raids, things like that, lots of busyness going on, but I'm enjoying it as always. And that is pretty much it. Because I'm going into the office, I'm not sure exactly how much reading I'll get done, but hopefully I can do some on my commute. I'm looking forward to that, but it'll probably be a busy day because it's my first day back from leave, and yeah, quite warm. I'm not looking forward to getting public transport in the heat, so we shall see how that goes. It's much later in the day and I am in my new pyjamas that I bought from Sainsbury's. I saw these online and I really wanted them, and then they had them in the Sainsbury's, so I picked them up. Don't know why you need to know that, but I didn't actually get any reading done on my commute, unfortunately, because I had the most horrendous journey. So I have only read one chapter of Wench, but I thought I should probably actually tell you who it's by and the quick synopsis. So that is the plan right now. So it is Wench by Erynne Rivers, and it is due to be released on the 16th, which is in 2 days' time. So I really need to get a wriggle on with reading this, but other things have just unfortunately taken a little bit of priority. So I will get it done and reviewed ASAP. But this is a Robin Hood retelling, and it's basically says perfect for fans of Robin Hood and the Knight and the Moth. Maid Marian's life is over. Her cowardly father has betrothed her to the most reviled man, the Sheriff of Nottingham. Devastated, she's sent on the quickest path to meet her husband through the fate-infested Sherwood Forest. But everything changes when her carriage is attacked by the most feared fae, the Merry Men, followers of the infamous Robin Hood. Kidnapped and waiting on the sheriff's rescue, Marion finds herself surrounded by the most magical creatures she's been raised to fear, but the more time she spends in their presence, Marion realizes that not everything she's been taught by her family is true, and Marion can't help but find herself drawn to her captor, the simply handsome Robin, who stands between her and returning to life amongst the humans. As the sheriff's men close in on Marion's location, she will soon be faced with the ultimate. The family she's. Is that meant to say with the ultimate or with the ultimate family she's always known, or the love she could choose for herself? I don't know if that's meant to say ultimate, but it says ultimate. But yeah, I have only read another chapter, so I'm only now up to chapter 3. I think it's like 8% of the way through, so I'm not really far enough into it to know how I feel about it, because it's really just setting everything up. But we've been introduced to Mariam, and we've been introduced to the world, sort of. And yes, she has been told that she needs to be betrothed to the sheriff. She's obviously not very happy about that, so we will see how that all pans out. But yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to do much reading at all today, so my plan is to do that for the rest of the evening now that I am done with the office. Yeah, that is it. I haven't read any more of Ellie Dean, and the plant just decided to fall off the top of the thing, so I guess this is time for me to end the clip. I'm sat here because Rosie is in my seat and she won't move, so I'm just leaving her to it. I have made a little bit more progress on Wench. I read some of it this morning and a little bit of it last night, so I'm now on chapter 6. I'm 19% of the way through, so it is still setting everything up. So the main character, Mariam, was forced to be betrothed to the sheriff, but she was on her way to him so that they could get married as soon as possible. But unfortunately, they had to go through the forest, and in doing so, ended up being attacked by this Fae group, and she ends up kind of accidentally saving one of their lives. So she then is held captive, and she is being taken to where they live, and she is now being taken to sort of like their leader, who the humans call Robin Hood, but he doesn't like to be called that, so she is about to meet him. So I'm enjoying it so far. I just need to get into it, I think, a little bit more, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. Because it is an arc, the formatting is a little bit awkward, and that is just doing my head in a little bit, but that's not the book's fault, so I'm not going to comment on that. But yeah, I'm interested to see what she thinks and how it all goes, because I think that she's just met him but doesn't realise that he is who she's met. So she's being a bit sassy, and I like that. She seems like she's going to be a really strong female character, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it continues. I have been making some more progress on Wench, and I am now 36% of the way through. I am just struggling a little bit, and honestly, I think it's me more than anything else. I'm just finding it really hard to concentrate at the moment. I'm picking the book up, starting to read it, and just finding that my mind is wandering, and then I'm picking up my phone and I'm doing this and I'm doing that rather than reading, and I'm having to really force myself back to it. Now, I don't know if it's the book or if it's me. I think it's me, but also partially the book, that maybe it's not gripping me as much as it should, which is annoying because I was hoping that I was really going to like this. So all that's happened so far, so I'm 36% of the way through, and obviously Mariam is currently in Sherwood Forest. She's been taken by the Fae, and she essentially there was like a council sort of thing, all decided whether she should stay in the forest or she should be forced to leave, and they have ended up deciding that she should stay, but she has to work and earn it, and then they're going to decide fully what to do with her afterwards. And she's really suspicious of everything, because all she's been told are essentially horror stories and bad things about the Fae. So she's been told that if you eat something that they give you, then you get controlled by them. So she's not eating, and she's refusing to eat anything that they give her, and she's really suspicious of magic and saying that it's evil and those kind of things. And she obviously has met Robin Hood, but he goes by Locks, and she's met him a couple of times, and I think she's starting to see that he isn't as evil and as bad as the stories that she's heard make him out to be. And so there's that. She's noticing that he does seem a little bit nicer, so I can see that that is slowly evolving. But it's just, I'm not desperate to pick it up, but I think honestly that is just because we've had a really busy weekend. So we were in London, it was really hot, there's all those kind of things. I come back to work, it's really busy, I've got to prepare for my week off next week, and so I think I'm just not in the best of headspace at the moment. So I've decided for this evening I'm going to put this down and I'm going to pick up Sweet Memories of You, because this is just an easy breezy read and doesn't take much thought at all. I can just read it and get a few chapters in, and then I'll know if it's me or not, because if I'm finding this fine, then I'll know. Whereas if I'm struggling with this as well, then it's me. But I'm thinking I'm going to put a hold on this for the rest of this evening, see how I get on tomorrow. If I'm still really struggling, it's potential that I might soften an effort, even though I don't want to do that because it is an arc. But I have a week off next week, and the last thing I want is to get myself into a reading slump when I have my prime reading time. So I'm hoping that I'll have a good night's sleep tonight, and tomorrow I will feel better. Apologies, I don't know if you'll have been able to hear that, but Dave is watching the football, so I can hear him. He's watching it with his friends upstairs, so I don't know if the mic will pick that up. But anyway, so yes, my plan is to potentially soft DNF this if I'm still struggling with it tomorrow, because then I can just pick something up on my Kindle that's a little bit shorter, easier to read, that might just help tide me over, because I'm really worried that I'm going to get into a reading slump on the week off that I have, where I can do plenty of reading. Good vibes, please. But yes, I think I'm just going to try and read some Ellie Dean, and I genuinely think that it's me, and I think that maybe tomorrow I feel a little bit better, and by Friday it'll be fine, because then I'll be off for the week, so my mind won't be thinking about work until I have a bit more headspace. And that is pretty much it. So yeah, back to this for a little while and see. I don't think I've read any more since the last updated. I'm on page 98, chapter 5. So yeah, this will be what I read for the rest of the evening. I've just had such a nice relaxing shower, and I have got myself into bed, and I'm going to try and just relax, no pressure, and read some of Sweet Memories of You, and hope that this helps my brain to just switch off a little bit and let me chill. So I am hoping that will happen. I've got a twitch in my eye, keeps coming and going, so I'm not sure how much reading I'm going to get done, but we will try. Not much of an update really. So I did read one chapter last night of Sweet Memories of You, so I'm now on chapter 6, page 120. But obviously this is set around World War II, and there was a sort of like, they had the sirens going off, something happened, and I just wasn't feeling reading it. I was just like, you know what, no. So I read a chapter and that was pretty much it. But then this morning I did pick my Kindle back up and read a little bit more on this, and I think I'm feeling a lot better than I was yesterday. So I'm 39% of the way through, so I haven't made tons of progress, but I do think that this is starting to pick up now, and I'm thinking that I'll be able to get into this a little bit more. So I will be just focusing on this. I think I will pick Sweet Memories of You back up. It's just last night I was just like, and I didn't want to force it, so yeah, we'll see. But not tons of reading is going to get done this week, I do not think, but that's fine. Doesn't always have to be tons and tons of reading. I'm hoping next week that I just have all of the energy to read. That's all I'm worried about. Also, you can kind of sort of see Rosie there chilling Yeah. Yes, I am in my pajamas again. They're comfy. I love them. I have been making more progress on Wench. So I've read a few chapters this evening. So I'm now 53% of the way through. And I definitely feel like the second half of this has picked up a lot more. So Mariam was in the forest with Lot and she wasn't really having that great of a time. She was really worried. She's obviously heard some horrible things about Fae and what they can do, and she ends up trying to escape, but she gets attacked by humans. So she's now back in the forest, and Lux has said that he will get her trained so that she doesn't feel vulnerable again. And I can feel that there's clearly something going on between the two of them, because Lux is sort of protecting her and he has been saying there's something different about her. The forest allowed her in, this kind of thing. So I think there's going to be something between the two of them. And since it is a Robin Hood retelling and she's Mariam, I imagine that that's exactly where it's going. But it is a very slow burn. And I do think that it has been a little bit slow, but it's definitely started to pick up. So I have a feeling that because she had this altercation with these humans, that the humans are going to start searching for her again, and the sheriff is going to try and find her, because obviously she is technically his missing bride. So I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think that that's really a spoiler, I feel like. So I am enjoying it. I do think it's me. I think I'm just in need of a break, and I'm just taking it easy. But yes, I am continuing on. I think it says I've got about 3 hours and 14 minutes left, so I'll possibly get this finished tomorrow. I think I might just try and focus on this and get it done, which would be quite nice. I haven't really made any more progress on my Ellie Dean. I can't be bothered. I might, but yes, I haven't read any more of Ellie Dean. But I think I'm just going to focus on Wench because I do really need to get it done. And yeah, just see how it goes. But tomorrow is my last day at work for a week. So hopefully tomorrow evening I can relax and just hang out and read. That would be nice. I have slowly been making progress on Wench. So I'm now 57% of the way through, and it's saying I only have 3 hours left. So I'm really thinking that I will get this finished today. The second half of this has absolutely picked up more than the first half. So Mariam is now getting lessons to help her protect herself, and Lux has come in and said he's going to be training her as well. So this is where I feel like the relationship between the two of them is going to start to evolve into something more. There's also been a hint, so Locke essentially is kind of like a guardian of the forest, and they work together with his magic, and there's been a mention that there should be 2 people to manage this forest. So I think it's going to end up being her, because he's already mentioned a few times about how the forest has called to her or has protected her and these kind of things. I think that's going to be the case. But yeah, I am still really enjoying it. It's definitely slower paced than I thought it would be, but that's absolutely fine. The second half has definitely picked up, and I can see that this is more about the relationship building between Marian and Locks, which I think is better than her just getting to this place and instantly falling in love with the guy that she's been told is the villain. So I'm really intrigued by that. There hasn't really been any sort of mention of, other than when she was attacked, there hasn't been mention of the sheriff trying to find her or her dad. So I think that's going to be the main conflict a little bit later on. But yeah, I am slowly getting through this, and I'm sure I will be able to get it finished today. Obviously, it is the last day of the vlog, so not tons of reading this week, but I think that that's absolutely fine, and I'm really hoping that next week will make up for that. So we shall see how it all pans out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to making more progress. I have finished work for the week and a whole week. I am now officially on annual leave, so that's really exciting. We popped to the shop, had something to eat. I am ready to chill for the rest of the evening. So I have 2 hours left on this book. So my plan is to lock in and get this finished. It is almost 7:30. So hopefully I'll have this finished by 9:30, and then I will at least have got another book done for this vlog. So yeah, that's my plan. Sit here and read this. I have read a little bit more of it and it is definitely picking up. So I'm about 70% of the way through and the romance has really picked up in this, and I'm just intrigued to see how it will go because Mariam seems to be interested in staying in Sherwood and embracing everything that comes with that. So I have a feeling that potentially her dad and the sheriff are going to come back and try and jeopardize that. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, about 2 hours to go, and I think the next time I check in will be once I finish that. So let's hope that I can get this done relatively quickly. I finished Wench. So I finished it about half an hour ago, and then I've decided to try and do some editing on this vlog because, as always, I am super last minute. So I'm giving it 3 stars. The ending definitely picked up and I did enjoy it. I just personally found the story wasn't gripping me as much as I was hoping. It was okay, like I liked it, but nothing really stood out to me. I kind of guessed a lot of the stuff, like I had a feeling a lot of the things that happened were going to happen. There was one slight reveal, but the overall thing that happened at the end, I kind of had a feeling that that was going to be the case. Now, it wasn't necessarily bad, it was just middle of the road. Didn't like it, didn't dislike it. The ending was probably the strongest part of it. I thought it was very wholesome and quite sweet towards the end. And yeah, I think part of it was potentially when I read it because I didn't feel like I was in the best of reading moods, so that has potentially affected my score. So I will sit on it a little bit, but I do think 3 stars is pretty accurate, and I'm not sure that I would give it much more than that anyway. So it is what it is. I'm glad that I finished it because I was worried that there was going to be a part where I wouldn't have been able to finish it just because of how much I wasn't feeling, like I was just struggling to concentrate and it just wasn't gripping me. So yes, that is done. So I will be just focusing on Sweet Memories of You, but I've barely read this either. I'm on page 120. I can't remember even where I was the last time I checked in. So yeah, I'll just be reading that. I think it's probably time to wrap up the vlog. It is about 20 to 10. I'm not going to probably do any more reading for a little while. I've got the vlog to edit so that I can get it ready to go live tomorrow. So yeah, I don't think this has been the best. This might actually be possibly my worst reading week so far, but I just had things going on and I'm not going to force it. I've got next week off, so I'm really hoping that that's just going to make things a lot easier. I'm just going to take it easy and just see what happens. I've got a few books that I really want to read, so I'm not sure whether I will potentially deviate from my physical TBR and just do some mood reading and get some things in that I really want to read just to try and combat this kind of slump that I'm feeling. So stay tuned for that. So I did manage to finish 2 books in this vlog. So the first book was Daybreak by Autumn Woods. That was an e-arc from NetGalley. I had already started it before this vlog, but I managed to finish it in this vlog and I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as good, in my opinion, as the first book, Nightshade, but it was a perfect conclusion to that story. I then also, only today, not very long ago, finished Wench by, I should have checked this, Erynne Rivers. Again, this was another arc, so I feel like this is the vlog of arcs. This is another arc from NetGalley, and I gave this 3 stars. It was okay. I found it very middle of the road. Nothing particularly gripping happened, unfortunately, in my opinion. The second half was definitely much more interesting than the first, and yeah, I'm just glad that I read it. And then unfortunately not a whole bunch of progress was made on this, but the physical book from my July TBR that I read was Sweet Memories of You by Ellie Dean, and I did not get much of this read at all, but I have made a start on it, so that is something at least. So I think it's probably about time I wrapped this vlog up, and as always I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you have liked this vlog, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, comment down below and tell me what you've been reading this week. Hopefully your reading week has been a little bit better than mine, and yeah, just let me know any thoughts, feelings, opinions on anything at all. And again, as I said, thank you so much for watching.